Hey everyone, welcome to Beach Investing. I'm your host and realtor Andre Jolkowski. We're in the basement apartment of Jerry Greer's property where we are in the after video of his renovation. So you saw that before. If you haven't, just click below this link and you'll see that before, but now we're doing the after video. Come on, let's take a look. So right away you notice that this is already opened up. There used to be a door here. It was very enclosed, but we've already opened it up. It has this big open concept here now. There was a lot more squeezed in before. Before we meet these guys, I'm going to show you the bathroom first. So come take a look at the bathroom. Now let's go see them. But as we're walking, take a look at this nice cabinetry too. Hey guys.
Hey Andre.
Jerry. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Jeff. Hey. How you doing? Good. So this is the after renovation. We see a lot of improvements. I see this is a lot brighter. You have like pot lights, different paints, different kitchen. Everything is different. Flooring.
Yeah, this was a major renovation. This unit was quite bad shape. It was very old and tired. The flooring was tore up. The carpet needed to be replaced. So we redid the floor, new kitchen cabinets, new drywall in the ceiling, replaced the UFFI that was in the ceiling, took it all out, put in soundproofing. And also, by the way, put soundproofing under the hardwood floor on the suite above, so both these suites should be quite quiet.
Okay.
So we're using it as a selling feature with tenants that are coming to view the property.
Okay. And
the pod lights, which Jeff really emphasized in the beginning, I think have really added to it. We had track lighting in this part of the unit, and over in the living room part, in the bedroom, there actually wasn't any light fixtures at all. They had to use lamps, so it was quite dark when you were showing it. And the pot lights make a huge difference.
you have some great ceiling in here. Was it this high?
Yeah, it was. It was when I bought the property 5 years ago. It was one of the attractions of the property is that the basement, the lower unit was so high. It's actually about 7.5 feet here, which is quite unusual in older buildings in the beaches, or I think anywhere in Toronto, really. Yeah. Plus, the windows are quite large, as you can see, and are well above ground. So, and these windows face south and west, so it's very, when it's a sunny day, unlike today, which is a typical November day, but on a sunny day, you get a lot of sunshine coming through these windows.
It doesn't even feel like a basement apartment.
No, and therefore I don't advertise it as a basement apartment. I advertise it as a lower suite. And because I don't want people to just not come see it because it's advertised as basement, because it really doesn't feel like a basement.
Well, we're south of Queen Street in the prime beaches.
Yes. Right.
So this is a 1-bedroom, and you used to get about $1,000 a rent.
It was $1,000 a month, and that was even a little bit of a tough sell because it was hard to run down. And in the first 5 years I've had the property, I didn't want to make the extra investment, but when it came empty this time, it was time because I had to do something to it anyway. So I thought, well, I might as well do a proper renovation this time around, and that's what we've done.
And you're advertising
with Jeff's help.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to Jeff soon. And you're advertising it for rent? How much right now?
$1,500 per month. So that's, again, $100 more than what it was renting before. And in this, again, as you say, this prime beach, so it shouldn't be difficult to get it rented for that amount. Again, it is November, late November, getting on towards Christmas, so this is a tough time of year to rent, but I have no doubt that it will rent at this amount.
Yeah. And your budget was approximately $25,000.
Yes, and again, we end up spending closer to $40,000 here. A couple of reasons. One, initially we weren't going to take out the ceiling.
You weren't going to?
Weren't going to. That ended up being quite a big job because there was UFFI on the other side of the ceiling, as you know. We did a previous video on that. So removing all the UFFI, that was quite labor intensive, and it was a pretty dirty job. And then of course we had to drywall the ceiling and then do all the soundproofing. The UFFI was providing soundproofing before, so we had the new soundproofing in, so that was a pretty major upgrade. Another thing we did, we talked about the sloping floors on the unit above. So we took a look at the foundation here. So we actually dug down under the foundation to the footing, right through to the other side of the footing. We had structural engineer and soil engineer involved. And discovered that someone, a previous owner, we're guessing probably 1970s, because I think this is when this apartment was originally constructed. Had built a beautiful footing. It was about 1 foot deep, and it was on 8 inches on either side of the structural wall. The structural engineer looked at it, and his first words were, "That's a beautiful looking footing."
Yeah.
He said, "That's probably more than I would have recommended." So that was a really great find, because if we had to put a footing similar to that in ourselves, then that would have been a pretty big, expensive project.
Okay.
But it did cost some time and money to do the digging and suss that out to see what was involved. So that was an additional cost down here as well.
Okay, so let's
and then electrical, the whole electrical with the pot lights, and then ended up when the electrician came in, you really had to rewire practically the whole apartment to make it work properly. So that was an upgrade.
And so let's move over to this side. And Jeff, why don't you explain to our viewers what people used to see here while you were doing something here and Dewey was shoving something in there, and then there was a big hole in the ground. Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. So this is the area that we lifted the ceiling. You can actually tell that the ceiling on this side is probably about a good 3 or 4 inches higher than it is on that side, because we've lifted up the ceiling joist and we packed in a couple inches of solid wood here. So this is the area that we did most of the jacking on. And yeah, we started, the electrician did a couple of holes when he started to take out some of the knob and tube wiring, and that just seems he came across more and more knob and tube, and it got to the point where we had to drop the ceiling, and it made sense, and that triggered an opportunity to jump in and do the pot lights and do it right. And so I think that with the leveling of the ceiling, which is also the floor for upstairs, and all of that work, is something that I think that Jerry, I'm an investor as well, and so I think Jerry can walk away and with the confidence that he's done things right. He's eliminated the UFFI, which was playing on his mind, and he's checked with the foundation, and that he was confident that that's nice and solid down. So that sometimes you're going to spend a little bit of extra money, but when you have a property, then you can. This is a generational property that you can hand off to his children. And so he can hand it off with confidence now, knowing that every single apartment that he touches, he's doing it right. And there's no more question marks as to what's behind the walls. And sometimes you do a renovation, and you touch an area, and that part of the project gets a little bit bigger and bigger. And luckily, Jerry had a couple extra dollars under his sleeping bag. And so, it's a part of doing business on these rental properties. And I think that I advise them as a renovator myself and as an investor that you got to do things right, otherwise it's going to bite you in the butt later on. So another thing that we did do on this place is because there's areas that are flat, or areas that are textured walls, there's areas that are lath and plaster, there's areas that are also drywall. I always put flat paint. The last couple of years the paint quality's gone way up, and the flat scrubbable is really, really good, and as a result you put the flat paint on, and these little nooks and sort of ticks and stuff like that, you can't even see them with the flat paint. It's a great, when you're renovating, I always use flat paint.
Yeah, I noticed that this apartment and upstairs, I didn't really notice any sort of defects to the walls, and I guess that is the flat paint.
Yeah, well, we've been doing it on ceilings for years to hide the imperfections, and now I do it on all the walls because it's scrubbable. It's a lot better quality than it was, and even if the tenants are children, they can scrape it up and you just wipe it off with mild soap and water. So yeah, Jerry's done a fantastic job here, and the decor that we went with downstairs is more of an industrial look. It's a lot more open concept, as opposed to upstairs is more traditional like the rest of the beaches, and we decided to do a couple of interesting things here. We got a toolbox as an island there. He did a great job making it an open concept and eliminating that closet at the front, and putting all of the storage into built-ins. Built-ins are a great investment if you have an inexpensive cabinet company. And that was a long, narrow passage, and now it's the lighting is up in the ceiling, and no question we'll get an extra $500 a month for this.
Easily. And let me ask you, are you going to be staging your apartment down here?
Yes, I am. Actually, I had Donna McGowan here just earlier today, and she's going to be putting together a package for me. And when I renovated the second floor suite a year ago, she staged that for me, and it made quite a difference. I rented it shortly thereafter. So think when you're renting at a higher end point in the marketplace, that staging can be very helpful in getting it rented the first time around when they're empty.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'd like to also point out the flooring in here. The flooring looks like a wood flooring, but it's actually an interlock vinyl flooring, which works very well in the basement.
This is
vinyl.
vinyl?
Basement. Yes.
Wow.
And you can extend it right into the washroom because it is vinyl. But when you look at it or walk on it, it doesn't seem that way.
No,
I guess I fooled you on, right?
Yeah. This looks like a very good quality laminate.
Right.
Wow. That's amazing. So I also noticed that you're going through sort of like Jeff said, like the industrial look. Like the
yes, and that was actually Jeff's idea. I thought it was a little wacky at first when he talked about putting in a mechanic's tool chest in here. I said, I've seen this thing at Costco. It's a mechanic's tool chest with a butcher block top on it. And I thought, yeah, sure, Jeff. And then we looked at it and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe that will work. And the other thing is, we don't have a lot of counter space on this side, so it does provide the renters the counter space they need to prepare meals and so on. So it's actually turned out to be a great idea, and I think it's a unique feature of the apartment that's going to help rent it.
So with the right renovations, with the right staging, and the right team, you put more cash flow in your pocket.
Absolutely. Team's critical.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your help on it.
My pleasure. Well done, Jeff.
2 more apartments left.
Thank you, Jeff.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right.